Hello everybody, this is Shane, and I'm with guest Ariel.
Hi everybody, glad to be here.
The date of this transmission is 12/29/2016. This is part 2 of a series. Part 1 was released on 12/26/2016. The title of this video is North American Weather Anomaly and Tectonic Threat 1/1/17 through 1/11/17. January 1st through January 11th, 2017. North American jet stream anomaly to heighten earthquake risk in following areas: the Cascadia Fracture Zone, the Juan De Fuca Plate, the San Andreas Fault are all on alert status through the above-mentioned timetable based on anomalous jet stream forecast soundings, which we will go over. As the 500 millibar divergence anomaly moves east across the United States, the new Madrid Fault Zone will also enter alert status during the latter half of the above-mentioned timetable. Record cold to infiltrate the northwestern U.S. on or around 1/1/2017 and work itself into the southwest by 1/4/2017, also spreading across the rest of the country throughout the remaining time period. Temperatures of well below zero will be encountered in eastern Montana, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin as this weather intrusion moves east. Pay attention, southern regions of the United States, abnormally cold air to affect your regions. An extreme 500 millibar temperature divergence between North America and the northeastern Pacific Ocean will form as this climate shift evolves. This, along with the steep pressure contrasts between North America and northeastern Pacific, will result in heightened tectonic stress on the San Andreas and Cascadian fracture zones. Please take note if you live on or close to these geographic tectonic zones. Many people don't realize that the jet stream is influenced from the magnetic lines of force within the molten core of the Earth. If you want to know the condition of Earth's inner dynamics, then study the 3 main atmospheric jet streams: 300 millibars, 500 millibars, and 850 millibars. These 3 jet streams follow the atmospheric lines of force that form in reaction to the activity in Earth's molten core. Gravitational anomaly maps of Earth's crust further illustrate this. The gravitational readings of Earth's outer layer do in fact mirror Earth's atmospheric jet stream tendencies. So, this being said, I just want to state that this does not mean that we are going to have a severe earthquake. It's impossible to forecast these events. What it does suggest is that there's a heightened risk, and we're basing this on atmospheric conditions and also volcanic conditions in the inner Earth that Ariel is further going to talk about. Okay, so we are on the forecast model GFS for January 2nd, 2017, and we are looking at the 500 millibar plot. 500 millibars is 18,000 feet in elevation, and as we can see, we have the cold air at 18,000 feet and low pressure firmly in place taking hold in the northwestern United States. And thus this is the beginning of the jet stream anomaly that will take place over the next 10 plus days after the 1st and 2nd of January 2017. And we are now on January 4th, 2017, the 500 millibar plot, 18,000 feet in elevation. And as you can see now, look at the oranges building here. That's higher temperatures at 18,000 feet in the northeast Pacific. And notice the pressure start to change from low pressure to high pressure at 18,000 feet from the last run that we looked at from January 2nd, 2017. This is all high pressure now at 18,000 feet, so we have sinking air and denser air. And look at the gradient from the southern coast of Alaska moving all the way down the coast, all the way down to Southern California. This is the jet stream anomaly that starts to cause concern regarding the San Andreas Fault, the Cascadia Fracture Zone, and the Juan De Fuca Fault. And lastly, we are at January 7th, 2017, and we are at the 850 millibar plot, which is 5,000 feet elevation, basically the surface of the land. We're about a mile above it. And look at the cold air that has now infiltrated the whole United States. And another blast building up here in Western Canada. And still, the driving force of cold air moving straight down and literally has made it all the way to the coast. This is an issue for the tectonic plates that we've spoken of, the San Andreas, the Cascadia Fracture Zone, and the Juan De Fuca. Okay, so we're looking at the globe here. Here's North America right here. And I am out on January 2nd, 2017, and we're looking at the 300 millibar level, which is the upper jet stream, 30,000 feet in elevation. And as you can see, this is the cold air that's infiltrating the northwest United States, and this is the perpendicular jet stream formation that starts to form and will continue to form over the period all the way down to Southern California. And that's the anomaly, and that's the issue with the tectonic plates that's going to evolve. Okay, we are looking at the earthquakes for the last 7 days up to now. And as you can see, this extreme activity that's been going on in Alaska all the way up into the interior of Alaska and up. And of course, central and Southern California here, and western Nevada, Yellowstone here, and Mount St. Helens and Crater Lake area, Oregon in here. And it's really interesting that the jet stream is forming this perpendicular formation down the coast from southern Alaska all the way down, with the fact that the earthquakes have been doing this, represents a perpendicular push going on the plate. And of course you have the North American plate here. And I would like to bring in Ariel and have her discuss what she's feeling as far as volcanoes. And there's 3 super volcanoes here in the United States.
Okay, so Shane pretty much explained the whole atmospheric relationship to the Earth and what's going on. And what I'm going to be discussing right now is the physical Earth from a linear standpoint. And also I'll be talking a little bit from an energetic or higher perspective source of what's going on as well. So to begin with a linear standpoint, we have 2 different things going on. We have a horizontal and vertical shifting going on. We have a tectonic plate, global tectonic plate shifting. What I see is that there is an oscillation of going left to right, right to left of the plates, and that is apparent with the locations of the earthquakes that we are experiencing, particularly around the Ring of Fire. My feeling is that it is going left to right, right to left, but that the push is going to be more forceful going to the right if you're looking at the map straight on. So from West Ring of Fire to East Ring of Fire and so forth, going around the globe. Then what we're experiencing is we're having a vertical shifting going on. We're having the shifting going on from the atmospheric pressure and beyond that. And we're having the inner Earth pushing upward. So we're having a downward of the jet streams. We're having an upward of the magma from the core of the Earth going on. So what does this all mean? Well, let's give you some examples. So we've been seeing, just really briefly, there was a lot of activity going on in the Western Fire, occurring deep within the causality of a vertical shifting going on of the magma building up deep within the core, very, very deep, deep quakes. But these quakes were actually were triggered by the volcanoes. So my opinion is that what happens is that the volcanoes are getting activated, which is activating the earthquakes. One thing that I want to talk to you about is that it's almost like I see a pyramid happening. You know, what's going on right now is these anomalies of the jet streams that Shane's talking about affects the magnetics, which is causing change. It forces a change of pressure, and the pressure is through temperature and of the pressure itself going up and down. So the pyramid is almost what happens is that we've got the jet streams, which is causing an effect on the ley lines, which in turn affect the fault lines, which then go down and affect the core. The way that it's being expressed is that it's the chambers at this time, the magma chambers within the core of the Earth, the pressure in there physically is actually building. There's an oscillation actually going on there within there too. There's this up and down, vertical, horizontal expression of compression and expansion going on. The Earth itself is actually growing. It's getting bigger very slowly, but it's getting bigger. So what's happening with the entire planet is that we're getting a compression and expansion. So the earthquakes in Nevada that happened yesterday, just for an example, we're seeing this left to right, evidence occurring. So we're seeing an increase along the Cascadia and along the Juan De Fuca fault lines. And there's been an increase in activity all along Alaska area and then down through California, down to the southern tip of South America. Yesterday what happened was that we had an earthquake of a 5.6 in Nevada. This was located in an area where there's one of the 3 supervolcanoes in America, in North America. We have the Yellowstone caldera, which is in Wyoming. We have the Long Valley caldera near the Mammoth Lakes in Nevada, which is where the earthquake happened yesterday. And then we have the Valles caldera in New Mexico. So these 3 are the 3 supervolcanoes in North America, and they are intimately connected. What I was getting yesterday was that there was some sort of activity going on beneath the Yellowstone volcano, supervolcano, and that if you could see what I call sort of the root system of the supervolcanoes, just like you would with trees. Trees have long roots that interconnect with each other. This is also happening with the supervolcanoes too. So when we have an increase of magma pressure, lava, molten, in the molten core of the Earth building, it has to go somewhere. Yesterday I was getting guidance that this was sort of focusing its area in the Yellowstone supervolcano area, and what it was doing was causing these veins or arteries pushing through down to the Lake Valley caldera volcano area. What happened was that this pressure was building so much that it caused an earthquake around the Hawthorne area, which is about 88 miles, let's say northeast of the supervolcano in that area there. So basically what I wanted to talk about was how that this molten pressure, which we're not exactly sure what's causing that, other than that I believe that with everything expanding, with the Earth expanding as well too, and with the energetic aspect, is that we talked about a wave of energy that many of us know about that came in around December 18th from an unknown source at this time, could be a participant in what's going on with the increase activity within the core of the Earth. The way I look at it from a higher perspective is that we all know that at this point now, most of us that are awake and experiencing things energetically and are aware of it, is we feel this great expansion occurring energetically within our vehicles. And that at times, I personally can say that I feel this pressure within my body that I almost want to just jump out of my body, that this energy is just so big and expansive that it's really difficult for the vehicle, for the form to be holding it. And that energy always comes before the physical. So, and it takes a while for the physical to catch up to the energy. So the same thing is happening intimately, because we're so connected to the Earth, is happening to the Earth. Energetically, the Earth is growing, expanding, and her physical vehicle, the Earth itself, is feeling this pressure, this oscillating pressure of the energy, and it's taking time for the physical part to catch up to the energy part. So what we're seeing is this expression through volcano activity and through earthquake activities. Shifting of the plates is all happening because of this.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you very much, Ariel. That was great indeed. And so there's literally a correlation with our consciousness, our physical vessels, with the vessel of Earth and the dynamics. And I find that intriguing and really beautiful. So I appreciate it. We're looking here at the gravity anomaly map of the United States, and Ariel was talking about the supervolcanoes, and so I thought it'd be good to bring this up. You have Long Valley, the Long Valley caldera right here in central Nevada, central California. You have Yellowstone up here, and you have the Valdez caldera in New Mexico right here. This gravity anomaly map is showing the gravity anomaly with the rest of the intercontinental United States. And this is a result of the three major volcanoes in the Rocky Mountain region. Well, two of the three, and of course Long Valley here in California. And the magma is so vast and so rich and so full that it literally has a different fingerprint from the rest of the United States. And of course, if you look at these reds, these brighter reds down here near the coast, you can see that there's absolutely no magma here at all. It's just basically sand and beach. Now, of course, there is magma up here in Western Oregon, Eastern Oregon and southeastern Washington, and even here in California. But these are different signatures because they're at sea level, and definitely have a different gradient, a different chemical signature than does the North American plate, or the heart of the North American plate, which is right here. So that being said, I wanted to bring to everybody's attention that over the past 3,000 years, the core of the Earth has been speeding up, and the mantle crust on which we stand is slowing down. That's really important. So the fact that the Earth's core is speeding up means that there's more of a release of molten magma from the core of the Earth because it's speeding up, so it's more viscous. And then the fact that the outer core of the Earth is slowing down means that pressure is built in the tectonic plates because they're slowing down. So you have added fuel, added heat and pressure from the core because it's speeding up, but it's meeting an outer core that's slowing down. So these, this is preparing us for the next supervolcanic eruption in the world, and a great tectonic release. When it will happen, we don't know. I just want to bring that to attention. Ariel, can you?
Yeah, well, many people are very focused on the West Coast that something big is going to happen there, but we forget that that this area of the Long Valley Caldera super volcano area here is an area of concern, without bringing any fear to it, of course, but it is an area of concern, whether if anything actually occurs there or not, or possibly in the Yellowstone area or in the New Mexico super volcano. But just for, based upon history, the Long Valley Caldera is an area where 760 years ago there was a colossal volcanic eruption there that released. Well, actually, it when it erupted, it literally emptied the magma chamber under the area to the point of collapse. And then the second phase of that eruption released a pyroclastic flow that burned and buried thousands of square miles. And the ash from this eruption blanketed much of the western part of what is now the United States. So that's just an idea to give you of what in effect a major eruption could cause, and affect the United States in this way. So I'm not predicting anything, but it is an area of concern, just as there are other areas too. And from what you were just talking about, as far as the core speeding up and then the outer crust slowing down, that it is indicative that there's a possibility that something like this could happen.
Yeah, it's what the Earth does when it prepares itself for another supervolcanic eruption. They don't happen very often, but they do happen, and they happen as kind of like a reset, and to bring about a period of transformation, which the Earth has gone through many of them. It's part of it. It's just like molting. Shedding your skin. It needs to be done sometimes. So the Earth began this process from the aspect of her core around 3,000 years ago, and she's preparing, and it takes time. It takes hundreds and sometimes thousands of years for it to develop and unfold.
Yeah, and there's definitely a metaphor. There's definitely a metaphor in that as well too. When we are so connected with the Earth, and if we can look at the story of what's going on the planet right now, specifically what I'm talking about, what's going on the planet right now with the Earth itself, and how we are actually mirroring what's happening as far as transformation goes, and this need for releasing these belief systems and values and ways of living, and all of that, that whole story. But if you look at it as a metaphor of what the Earth is preparing herself to do as well too, she's going through it in a whole different story, because it is one big story. But we're talking about the story of the Earth right now, but we are directly and intimately connected with her as well too.
Okay, and the last part that Ariel and I wanted to talk about are some codes. On January 26, 1700, a massive earthquake strikes the Pacific Northwest coast, sending a tsunami racing across the ocean all the way to Japan. The earthquake was likely around magnitude 9 and occurred within the Cascadia subduction zone. The oceanic crust there is being forced beneath the North American plate along 680 miles of coastline between Mendocino in Northern California and Vancouver Island in British Columbia. Subduction zones are capable of generating the largest earthquakes on Earth, including the 2004 magnitude 9.2 in Sumatra that caused the devastating Indian Ocean tsunami. The Northwest United States quake of January 26, 1700 is retold in Native American legend, and the tsunami was well documented in Japan. The Cascadia Fracture Zone is still active and will generate more major earthquakes in the future. Scientists have found that at least 7 earthquakes around magnitude 9 have occurred over the last 3,500 years, an average of 1 every 500 years. But recent research has shown that many magnitude 8 quakes have shaken the area in the intervening years, bringing the average time between quakes down to 270 years. Because there hasn't been a major earthquake in the Cascadia Fracture Zone for 300 years, many people who live in the area are unaware of the danger or unprepared for a quake. And many buildings in cities on and near the coast, such as Portland, have not been retrofitted to survive a major jolt. I wanted to bring this up because, of course, we are heading into January of 2017, and 17 is a big code. 2016, of course, is the year of the archetype of the tower, and 17, or archetype 17, represents 2017, and we're kind of making the transition between the tower and the star. The tower, a lot of people won't know this, but Magdalena equals Mary of the tower, and Mary is associated with water. So I thought that that was interesting, and wanted to say that in the study of esoteric causality, we find the links that cause all cycles. So I think that the fact that this happened in January of 1700 was very interesting. Also, 1 plus 26 plus 17 equals 44, which is very interesting. 44 is a code. So as far as esoteric codes, and comparing it to causality, this is also something to pay attention to. So I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention, and I just wanted to show everybody a